Welcome back to Threshold City. This is Shadows of the Night. By Raven Knight. Let's begin. Chapter 10. Supply Chain. By noon the next day, my left hand still didn't fully belong to me. It was there. It moved. It even held a mug if I wrapped my fingers around it and pretended I couldn't feel the tremor inside the bones. But fine wasn't the word. Liam drove. He didn't ask if I wanted to. He just showed up outside my building like he'd decided my apartment was now part of his jurisdiction. "You sleep?" he asked when I slid into the passenger seat. "No." "You eat?" "No." He stared at the road. "We're fixing that." "Sure." He didn't smile. That wasn't a suggestion. We drove in silence for 3 blocks before he said, "Jessie called." My eyes flicked to him. "She gave me the lab results from the fragment she pulled from the first body," he continued. "And?" "She said it's not steel, not silver, not anything she can match to common alloys." "That's what she told me." "She also said something else." He glanced at me. "It has trace elements used in industrial dampening composites, stuff that gets poured into foundations to reduce vibration." That got my attention. "Where do you get it?" I asked. "That's what I asked," Liam said. "And?" He turned onto a wider road, heading away from downtown and toward the older industrial district. "And I pulled city procurement." I stared at him. He didn't look smug, just tired. "You shouldn't have access to that," I said. "I shouldn't have seen a hole in the air open above a corpse either." "Fair." "What did you find?" I asked. 3 contractors in the last year bought that composite in bulk," he said. 2 are legit. 1 is a shell." "A shell that buys foundation dampeners," I murmured. "And has no listed employees," Liam said. "No projects, no permits." "Where does it ship?" I asked. He tapped the steering wheel once. "Warehouse district. Dockside." The city blurred past. Brick buildings, chain link fences, abandoned lots pretending they weren't still watched. "Why would a cult need vibration dampeners?" Liam asked. "They're not dampeners," I said. "They're conductors." He glanced at me sharply. "How do you know?" "Because the fragments don't behave like metal," I said. "They behave like absence." "That's not an explanation. It's the best one you're getting in a moving car." He exhaled through his nose. "How do we hit this?" he asked. "We don't," I said. He shot me a look. "What?" "We watch first." "We don't have time to watch," he snapped. "They've killed 3 people and called you." "They're building a schedule," I said evenly. "If we go in loud, they shift the schedule and we lose the trail." His jaw clenched. "You hate being told to slow down," I added. "I hate letting people die while we play chess." I didn't look away, then stopped playing checkers. Silence. He didn't like it. He also didn't deny it. We turned into the warehouse district. The air smelled like diesel, salt, and old rot. Seagulls screamed overhead like they'd learned profanity from dock workers. Liam parked 2 blocks out, under the excuse of a busted streetlight. "Where are we?" I asked. He nodded toward a squat concrete building with a faded company sign bolted above the loading doors. "Halcyon Structural Solutions." "Shell Company," he said. "One of 3 addresses tied to the purchases." I watched the building. No obvious security. No cameras visible from the street. That meant cameras were somewhere else. I stared at the corners, the roofline, the shadows. Nothing hummed. Nothing pressed. This wasn't an active node. This was logistics. That was good news and bad news at the same time. "Ever been here?" Liam asked. "No." "You sure?" I glanced at him. "If I'd been here, you'd already know. You'd have my old report on file." He didn't argue. He'd looked up my file. Of course he had. We watched for 15 minutes. Then a white panel van rolled up, no markings, plates clean. Driver hopped out. Male, late 20s, baseball cap, hoodie, no visible tattoos, no obvious cult theatrics, just a guy. He opened the side door, pulled out a small crate, and carried it inside. Liam tensed beside me. That's him. That's a delivery, I corrected. Same thing. Not yet. Liam gritted his teeth. The van left. 10 minutes later, a different car arrived. Dark sedan. Driver stayed inside, engine running. Passenger got out with a clipboard, walked into the warehouse like he owned it. Not nervous, not rushed, comfortable. I don't like this, Liam said. Because it looks normal, I replied. Yes. Normal is their camouflage. He watched the door. We need a better angle. I pointed. Across the street, that abandoned garage, second story. He gave me a look. You've been scouting vantage points since we parked. Yes. He sighed like he hated that he was starting to understand me. We moved fast, crossing between parked trailers and rusted dumpsters, then climbed the garage stairs with the caution of two people who knew being stupid got you killed. Second story gave us a clear view through a cracked window. Inside the warehouse, you could see stacks of industrial bags, pallets, crates, a forklift, and men. 4 of them, moving with purpose. Not wandering, not loitering, working. This wasn't a coven in robes. This was an operation. Liam lifted binoculars. Count, he said. 4 inside, I replied. Maybe more in back. He passed me a small earpiece. Put this in. You're not wired. I'm not going in alone, he said. My mouth twitched. That sounded like you learned something. I did, he said flatly. From you. Regretfully. I slid the earpiece in anyway. We watched another 10 minutes. A man emerged from a side door with a bundle of long, narrow packages wrapped in brown paper. He loaded them into a crate marked ceramic tile. I stared. Those aren't tiles, I said. Liam's voice was tight. Weapons? No. I focused. Anchors. How can you tell? Because the air around them looks wrong. Normal people can't see air, he muttered. I'm not normal. He didn't argue that either. The man went back inside. Another came out, cigarette in hand, stepping just outside the loading bay to smoke. He stood alone, isolated, vulnerable. Liam saw it too. His posture changed. Predator angle. No, I said quietly. He froze. What? You can't grab him here. Why not? Because if he screams, the whole warehouse locks down. We lose access. Liam's jaw tightened. And you think he's going to take a walk into the sun where we can ask politely? No. What do you want to do? I watched the smoker. He leaned against the wall, not alert, not watching the street, just waiting for his nicotine. That told me something. He didn't believe anyone was hunting him, which meant they thought they were invisible. I shifted back from the window. Follow him, I said. Liam stared. Follow him where? He's not going to live here, I replied. He's going to leave. He'll go somewhere that's less controlled. And then we take him. Yes. Liam exhaled hard. Fine. We waited. It took 30 minutes before the smoker stubbed out his cigarette and went back inside. Another 20 before he reappeared with his hoodie up and keys in hand. He climbed into an old compact car parked behind the warehouse. Engine started. He pulled out, turning toward the residential side streets. Liam and I moved, not tailing like amateurs. 2 cars back, steady speed, no sudden turns. The man didn't check mirrors, still comfortable. That comfort was going to break. He drove 15 minutes and stopped at a corner store in a low-rent strip mall. Fluorescent lights, lottery posters, a few bored customers. He went inside alone. Liam parked down the row, out of direct line of sight. "That's our window," he said. "Quiet," I replied. We waited until the man exited with a bag of chips and an energy drink. He walked toward his car, and then Liam stepped into his path like a wall. "Police," Liam said. The man's eyes widened. Instinctive panic. He looked left, right, calculating escape. Liam's badge was out. The man's breath hitched. "I didn't do anything," he blurted. I stepped in behind him, cutting off his retreat. "You work for Halcyon Structural," I said. He froze. His gaze flicked to me. Something in his expression changed. Not recognition, not fear, awareness, like he'd been warned about a variable he didn't expect to see in person. "You're not," he started. Liam stepped closer, hands where I can see them. The man's hands lifted slowly. He was shaking. Not brave, not trained. Low level. Good. "What's in the packages?" Liam demanded. "I don't know," the man said quickly. "I just move stuff." "From where?" Liam pressed. "Warehouse," he stammered. "That's it. That's all I do." "Who tells you what to move?" I asked. His eyes locked on mine again. And I saw it. Not possession. Not magic. Just conditioned fear. Like he'd been told about me. Warned. "You shouldn't be here," he whispered. Liam's eyes narrowed. "What did you just say?" The man swallowed hard. "You weren't supposed to..." I leaned in slightly. "Supposed to what?" His throat bobbed. "Get ahead." Liam stiffened. "What does that mean?" Liam snapped. The man's eyes darted to Liam's badge, then back to me. His voice dropped, almost reverent, almost terrified. "You're ahead of schedule," he whispered. The words hit like ice water, not because they were dramatic, because they were mundane. Scheduling meant planning. Planning meant time. Time meant Damien. Liam stared at me. "Evie." I didn't answer. I kept my gaze on the man. "Schedule for what?" I asked softly. He shook his head fast. "I don't know, I swear. I just deliver." "Who pays you?" Liam demanded. "Cash," he said. "Always cash." "Who gives it to you?" The man swallowed. "A guy." "Name," Liam barked. "I don't know his name." I stepped closer, voice low. "Describe him." The man's eyes squeezed shut for a second, like he didn't want the image in his head. "Tall," he whispered. "Nice coat. Doesn't look like he belongs down there." Liam's jaw tightened. "Down where?" "Warehouse, dockside." The man's voice shook. "He doesn't get dirty. He doesn't touch anything. He just watches." My skin went cold. Not because of description, because of function. Watching. Always watching. "Does he speak?" I asked. The man hesitated, then nodded. "What does he say?" I pressed. The man's lips parted, his eyes fixed on something past my shoulder, like he was hearing the voice again. "He says..." The man swallowed. "He says, variables stabilize under pressure." Liam stared. I didn't move. The man's breathing sped up, panicked now. "I didn't do anything," he said again, louder. "I didn't kill anyone. I didn't..." "Shut up," Liam snapped. "You're coming with us." The man jerked back. No, I can't." "You can," Liam said coldly. "You will." The man's eyes flicked to me again, and he said it, barely audible. "He's going to be mad." Liam grabbed his arm. "Who?" The man's mouth trembled. "Blackthorn," he whispered. The name landed like a weight. Liam looked at me. My pulse didn't spike. My power didn't surge. But somewhere deep, that grid awareness tightened like a net. Because now we had a name. And names mattered. "Get him in the car," I said. Liam didn't ask why my voice sounded like that. He just moved. And as the cult runner stumbled toward the back seat, I caught a faint scent on the air. Cold metal and absence. Not from him, from somewhere nearby. A presence. Distant, satisfied, watching the schedule correct itself. End of chapter 10. The investigation continues in the next chapter. Thanks for listening.